Hey guys, the Wood Craftsman here, and I'm going to do a short video here on a new cutter head that I just recently got from a manufacturer that I've done a previous video on. And actually got this yesterday, and just kind of wanted to show you what it was. This is the raised panel drawer front that I had custom made profile for an upcoming job here. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of show you what the multi-profile raised panel head looks like, and then show you some of the other inserts that I'd ordered as well. So, what you see right here is what $656 buys you. And I know that sounds like a lot, but actually, when you break it down, it really isn't that much. Let's start with the head first. Now, I've already actually put this together, but okay, so here is the raised panel head. It looks kind of like a Widowmaker, but basically they manufactured a profile to my design. And this is what they call a multi-profile raised panel head. It's kind of, like I said, looks kind of weird looking. Give you kind of an end view here, and I'll put a picture of the actual CAD drawing they sent me as far as what this head would look like. But basically, it's an insert style multi-profile raised panel head, and the way this works is, as you can see, I got two layers here. Let me show it to you like this here. Looks like I got it almost looks like a piece of high-speed steel, or shaper steel used to call it, in a carbide tip. This is actually what they call a backer plate. The way this works is, if you look at the profile here, you can see that there's quite a bit of area exposed from the back side of the cutter itself, and that backer plate is what supports the actual carbide tip, which is in front of that. So in reality, the way they have this set up is if I wanted to change profiles, all I have to do is loosen up these two set screws right here, which releases the gib, and then the tip comes out. And then on the back side, there's two more cap screws that are screwed into this backer plate, and that backer plate is drilled and taps. It's just a piece of high-speed steel, and they cut a bevel on it for all the clearance reasons. So yeah, basically, is I can run multiple different profiles in this raised panel head if I wanted to. This was my starting into custom tooling, and depending on how many more profiles I want to launch for drawer fronts, I might keep this head and just change the backer plates and tips. But at the same time, the reasonable cost behind this, the head is $375, which is pretty reasonable. And then the insert tips are $18.50 a piece. And then the backer plates are $18. So the nice thing is that once you've bought the backer plates and the head, you just replace the inserts as they dull. If I want to change profiles and I could still use this head, they would basically make new backer plates again and new inserts, so I still keep the same head. But depending on how this grows as far as my demand for custom tooling at this pricing, I might just buy more of these heads. Because the one thing I'm not really fond of is actually taking these tips out and replacing them with something else, especially if they're really good yet. Because in past experience, I've actually had these bust and crack. So if you're taking the tip out to change a profile, and when you loosen up and release the tension off there and it cracks, now you got to buy a new tip or a new set of tips. This manufacturer, if you want one tip, they'll make you one tip. The freight might be worth more than the tip, because these tips here, yeah, they're $18.50. So, and they base that off of what they call the carbide blank, the blank that they purchase. They're purchased in millimeters. I think they're 25 by 40, 25 by 30, 25 by 25, and some other various sizes. But basically, they have, to my understanding, they probably have the blank marked up to allow for the cost of doing the actual machining of it. So yeah, this is the raised panel head. That's going to be matching the raised panel doors. It's just basically a scaled down version of the raised panel. Now this right up here, this radius, that's just basically how they made it, because they kept the minor diameter the same from the door cut, or from the raised panel cutter to the drawer front cutter. So theoretically I should never have to move the fence. And the way to do that is to take it out here. Otherwise, if they didn't want to help me keep the minor diameter same, they could have brought this out and moved this point up, but they just did that out of courtesy, and I had no problem with that. So this portion up here is pretty much wasted material, never get used, but it's the blank that they had to use to make this profile. So I have to say I'm really impressed with this. These guys, Dimensions and Tooling, they really have put some thought into engineering this. You know, it's not really an anti-kickback design per se, but everything I do is power fed, so it doesn't really matter to me. I actually had them quote me out 2 more additional cutters. One is a new door edge cutter for doing my shaker edge, which is an eased round over on the front and back, and then trimming the edge. And I had them change the minor diameter a little bit. Actually had them do a custom body. And actually, by going to a custom body, it was actually a little bit cheaper for me. It was about $315, but then I had to buy the tips, but it does not require the backer plates, because it's actually a full body, and the profile's cut into the body. So this profile of this body, if I'm looking at the drawing correctly, if I think of it, I'll put it into the video here, but I believe it'll support a 2 1/8 inch deep profile, and it will be like 1 inch tall, I believe. So yeah, we'll see. One of them things that, depending on what my demand is for more and more custom tooling, this is just kind of the start in it for me, just for the simple reason that I've got a kitchen, actually a whole house coming up here, where they chose a beveled raised panel, and I've never actually had to make a beveled 5-piece drawer front before. So in order to do that, in order to get some fair amount of meat for the drawer handles or the pulls later on, I had to change the profile a little bit. So yeah, that's the raised panel cutter. This is some of the other tooling that I had gotten to go with it, replacement tips. This here is the actual matching, let's see if I don't drop this. This is the matching door raised panel. So basically is they took this profile and they shrunk it and still kept it proportionate. In order to do that, they had to change this angle. But they go through a drawing and approval process, so you're not doing anything blind with them. They want everything for you to approve the drawing. If you don't like the drawing, they make the adjustments until you approve the drawing. Coping tips. These are just a standard quarter round, just a standard bead, I guess, bead quarter round. And the standard sticking tips. So yeah, that's kind of it for this. I would definitely check these guys out. They are, like I said, located in Granger, Indiana. A company called Dimensions and Tooling, and I would for certainly recommend them to anybody. They can make all sorts of custom tooling. Doesn't necessarily have to be a raised panel cut or anything. Anything that's custom that used on a molder or a shaper or a table saw or a saw of some sort, they kind of get into that. They don't really get into the molder heads, or the planer heads like Bird does. But what I will tell you is the pricing of these compared to Bird tooling is significantly different. For example, this set of tips here, I got $45 for a set of 3, and another $45 for the matching one. So I got $90 for a complete set, and these are custom. If I were to modify any of these profiles and they could still use the same blank size, the price is the same, and that's per tip, so it's $15. If you go to a company like Bird Tooling, which I have nothing against Bird, but they're set up more for higher production, they want to make a minimum of, I think it's 3 sets, or maybe it's 3 tips, I'm not sure, and they're fairly expensive. They're over $25 if not more. So you know, I would definitely check these guys out. The other thing too is these guys can cut replacement tips for other manufacturers out there, but in order to do that they would need an old tip, and they would basically what they call reverse engineer it. They'd have to figure out the hook angle and all the other angles, the shear angle and things like that, and find out what it is so they can make an exact copy of it. Once they do that, they'll send you a drawing, and you need to approve the drawing in order for them to produce it. And then they'll assign it a part number. Everything here has a part number. This stock head, part number 4000-10HD. Max RPM 9000 RPMs. Okay, so if you want this head and you got a different profile in there, for example, these tips are a 52002. If I make a change to that and I want to keep this tip, but I want to make a change from that and make a different tip, they'll assign a different number, like 52003 maybe, or whichever. Or maybe some other customers got 03 because I'm pretty sure that they run a numeric order. But so they'll keep an existing profile, and if you want to modify it and keep that profile and make a different profile from that, they'll just assign a new part number. So this tooling here, some of these other ones, the 33-3125 is somebody else's profile that I'd gotten with the tooling. And if I want to make some changes to this, they'll still keep the 331325 for the original customer, and then if I make a change to that, they'll assign it a new number. So pretty neat idea. You know, they've definitely thought of everything for the most part. They make, like I said, all sorts of custom tooling. Even if you are looking for a specific groover to run in a table saw for running dados, they can do that too. So in fact, I actually have one that came from that same auction. So the other thing is too is that every time you order a new cutter head, you get the wrenches that go with it. This one here is a standard 4mm, yeah, it looks to be like a 4mm maybe. Just a standard Allen key or hex key, and this one's a Torx key. Every time you order a cutter head, they send the wrenches that you need to work with that cutter. For example, this Torx key works for the cap screws in the back side of the head, and if I ever needed to, yeah, it might work for the cap screws on top as well, but I should never have to move them anyways, so because these are your referencing point. But anyways, so I'll when I get this chucked up in the shaper, I've got the shaper set up for any face frame stock right now, but when I get this chucked up in the shaper, I'll give it a whirl and I'll show you guys how well this cuts. I don't question as far as how nice it cuts. If it's anything like their other tooling, this will cut phenomenally. So anyways, again, it's Dimensions in Tooling, located in Granger, Indiana, and like I said, very, very reasonable pricing. So custom tooling at stock pricing. So alright guys, that's it for this video. I know it's one of my shorter ones that I don't seem to get done too often, but I just wanted to share that with you. You know, if you're in the cabinet making business and you're looking for some good insert tooling and don't want to spend a whole lot or break the bank, definitely check out Dimensions in Tooling. They have a website, dimensionsintooling.com. It's very, very basic. There's not a whole lot of information out there. I think it's just kind of some like a About Us page and a couple other things. They don't have a product catalog online, but if you request one from them, they'll just send you a PDF with some CAD drawings showing that this is kind of made to order profiles that they have. And they have probably 8 to 10 style and rail profiles or cope and stick profiles, probably 8 to 10 raised panel profiles, and probably 8 to 10 door edge profiles. So you know, and if they don't have it, they can make it for the most part. So just kind of keep that in mind. So and they will work with you. If you don't want to use the multi-profile head and you want a dedicated body profile head, they can do that too. And that's what I had them quote me for the new door edge. I could have taken their stock door edge, ready-made door edge, but the diameter was too big for the shaper that I want to put it on. So basically I told them I would like to do a custom tool body, but I want to use stock profile number so-and-so, but put it in a custom tool body with this specific diameter. And they came back in 24 hours and told me this is what it cost, $315, and the tips are $13.75 a piece, which I have to pay for. So tips aren't included. But yeah, so anyways, I hope this video was helpful to you guys. Questions and positive comments are always welcome. Thanks for watching.